So once we have these nice boxes, we can begin doing things like splitting them up into separate individual parts. We'll do this by using the split body command. We can select that upper box, and then we can use its interfaces to split off pieces, just as if we had separate panels. Because when I'm done with this, I am planning on manufacturing using separate panels, just like you would in real life, right? So I can continue doing this several times, splitting off each side piece using the same split body command and the interfaces of the box itself to define the side panels. This of course gives me also a back panel, and on most furniture I've noticed that this back panel can often be pushed in a little bit. It's not actually flush with the outer edges. I don't know why that is, but I can use the move body command. That's the keyboard shortcut M, or in your modify menu, to push that in just a bit. So after I've done all this, you can see that each of these different parts is now a separate body in my assembly. And that's kind of important later because that's how I'm going to put this thing together. The next thing I decided to do was turn that sketch back on and then use the surface commands here to describe that upper shelf. I'm going to push that all the way back to that back panel, and that's one of the reasons I pushed the back panel in first before actually creating this shelf. This surface is too large. It hangs off over the edges, but I can use the command trim surface to select again those inner edges, those inner faces, to trim that surface. It's pretty easy, and you'll notice because I'm using the same command over and over again, when I'm done, I'm just going to press the right mouse button and push up. I'll be able to repeat the last command, and it's really efficient and easy to do that way. Now this surface is only a surface. It has no thickness. So I use the command thicken to thicken this. And here again, I'm going to use my material thickness parameter that I created. But I'm going to do symmetry. I'm going to do it on both sides so that middle surface is actually in the middle. And that unfortunately will make it double thickness. So I have to take middle material thickness and divide that by 2. Once that's done, there's no need for that surface. So I can use the remove command to actually remove that surface that I created in order to create this body. And it gets out of my tree, and it's very simple that way. Now, if anyone was unsure about how that worked, here's your chance to see it again, because that bottom box is essentially the same thing. Again, I use the split body command and select the body of that bottom box, and then use the inner surfaces as trimming platforms. I repeat that command over and over again to split off the sides and the top and the bottom of this box, which of course results in a separate panel at the back as well. It takes me a little while to think about which panels I need to use and which ones I have to grab, but it's all the same thing. And here again, you can take advantage of the fact that Fusion will always give you the last used command if you press the left mouse button, or the right mouse button, I'm sorry, and then push up. And you'll be able to see that, that last command and repeat it easily. Again, you'll also be able to use the move command to push that back panel in just a bit, which adds some needed stability to this finished part. The next thing I did was to do something a little bit decorative. Again, I go into the surface functionality and I create an offset surface using these front faces that you can see on the top set of shelves. I do an offset of 0, which doesn't seem very logical until you realize that creates a surface that I can then manipulate individually. I can then use the command extend to extend out the inner and outer edges of this very thin, very small surface. And how much do I want to extend them? Well, I use my parameter, material thickness, and multiplied it by 2. This sort of means that it'll always match the thickness of the material and always be a little thicker. So now I can just use the thicken command to thicken it up, and here again I'm going to use that parameter, material thickness. This gives the whole set of shelves a bit of a finished appearance and kind of cleans up those edges, makes it look nice. Notice again that we've got a set of shelves here that really starting to look like a real set of shelves, and it's all driven by just one sketch. That's important, and it's a big part of top-down design.